Hi, so it's been a while since I've made a video and put it on Facebook, on YouTube, but something has happened, and well, first of all, I'm gonna apologize if there's some weird noises in the background. The neighbors are like doing something with a tractor, and there's like kids screaming occasionally and stuff, so I just want to apologize for that. Anyhow, I've had a couple of new subscribers recently, and so I've also had something that I think is a pretty big deal kind of happening, and so I figured I'd make a video. Um, so today is August 25th, and on July 23rd, I went in to the clinic and I had my 6-month follow up. So it was exactly 6 months since I had my transplant. So what I'm going to talk about today is medications. So basically, I went in, everything was really, really great. And, over the course of the 6 months, they've been like reducing a lot of my meds, which is really awesome because that was like one of my biggest concerns going in. And then I was on one medication that was basically, I had been taking it for 6 months, and what the purpose was, like to prevent me from getting a virus called CMV. So it's basically like, in the first 6 months, making sure that I don't get this virus, because it's in normal people, it's fine. In healthy people, it's totally fine. Not a big deal. But in immunocompromised people, it can cause major issues or whatever. So at the 6-month mark, they said, okay, we're going to take you off of that medication and see how you do or whatever. You might start experiencing symptoms, and these are the symptoms to look out for, like diarrhea, fever, pains in stomachs, things like that. And so they said if you are going to get CMV, you'll get it like usually a month or two after we take you off the medications. So I already kind of knew that there was a possibility that I might develop it. A lot of transplant patients do. And so, basically some time went by, a couple weeks, and I started having these symptoms, and I was like, shit, something's wrong. So I go, I call, yes, I have a CMV, so now I'm on like a double dose to try to kill the CMV, basically. My symptoms didn't start going away as soon as they wanted, so then they started to reduce one of my immunosuppression medications, so that, I think the idea is like a balancing act to basically, because right now my immune system is so suppressed that if they like let up a little bit, then I will have a little bit more immune system to help fight off the virus is the idea. Okay, not the point. Anyways, so when I went to get my new prescription, because I had stopped right in July and I didn't have enough, so I went to get a new prescription, and they were kind of like, oh, like the medicine has changed manufacturers, no big deal, blah, 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 here's your medication, and it's going to look exactly the same and whatever, okay? Didn't really think too much about it. I mean, I know what that entails and everything, and I was like, fine. Got home, medications like looks totally different, whatever, okay? So I'm going to take a couple steps back to maybe like my 3-month follow-up appointment, and the doctor, I was having some other issues, and the doctor was like, well, have you read like the inserts, the side effects and things that your medications are going to cause, which, by the way, I'm on quite a few. And I was like, well, no, because like in the past, I've done that a lot, and sometimes, it's probably not good for me to do that, because then I start freaking myself out and thinking a bunch of shit, whatever. So I told him, no, I didn't, because this time it seems pointless. Like, I need to take the medication, so, like, why worry myself? If I need to take it anyways, I don't want to, like, get stressed out about it. And he said, yeah, but you should still just, like, kind of know. Okay, fine. So, anyways, fast forward to this, time or whatever. I go and I get the meds. Manufacturers change. The pills look completely different. Like, whatever. It's one medication. No big deal. A week, some time goes by while I'm on this medication. I'm still not feeling better. I'm still having terrible diarrhea, and and then they start doing some med adjustments. During this period of time, I start to run out of some of my other medications, and so I call, so I have this number. I can just refill my prescriptions, no big deal. Pharmacy calls. oh, your meds didn't come in yet. That's fine, whatever. I like do it in plenty of time so that I, don't like need them right away. Call back the next day. And the woman basically, had a long conversation. She didn't want to like tell me what the real deal was. I had to kind of pull it out of her. But basically she's saying like, oh, like I can't fill any 2 or 3 prescriptions because the pharmacist or the powers that be, she kept saying, won't approve it. And I was like, well, why? And she's telling me like, oh, there's been some changes in the way that your insurance will pay for the medication. Fine. So I'm thinking like they're looking out for me, right? Like my insurance changed something, and now like if I get the medication from the manufacturer that I was getting it from before, my copay is going to be higher or something, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm asking questions like, well, my copay before was $10 on the medication. When we switch manufacturers, what's the copay going to be? And she's like, well, $10. So I'm like, okay, so basically it has nothing to do with how my insurance pays as far as I'm concerned. It has to do with them and the money that they're getting paid. So basically, they're looking out for like their best interests, but who gives a shit about me, right? Okay, fine. Okay, so let me just be clear about this, right? So it's just a change in manufacturers, right? Like, what's the big deal? Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm already having, like, major stomach issues. I'd have, like, fucking diarrhea, like, stomach pains. I feel like shit, I'm already having these issues. I've already changed manufacturers of one medication. And here's the deal. Like, yes, it's the same active ingredients, but it is not the same inactive ingredients at all. So I spent some time today doing a little research. There's a great website called Daily Med, and you can put in the number of your medication. You can get all the information. So first I went and I was like looking on all of my pills, my medical insert. Like they give you these. It's going to be backwards, which kind of sucks, isn't it? Oh, I guess not. So they give you all these. Oh, don't want to show my personal information. Let me just see. Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, so they give you these medical inserts, right? But like, I'm looking through all of these because I kept them all, right? Because after that doctor was like, well, you should know. I did with the intention of like, oh, I'll read through these. But I haven't, I'm going to be honest, until today. I started looking, And I'm looking here and I'm looking at this and I'm like, inactive ingredients? Nowhere on here. So I go on the website and I went through and I literally so these are all like, I take a lot of freaking prescriptions, right? These are like all the inserts for all the fucking prescriptions I take. Fine. So I go into the Daily Med website and I start researching. And I go in and this is what I did. I printed off every single inactive ingredients. Oops, sorry. Inactive ingredients. Okay, so you're probably like, what's the big deal? They're inactive ingredients. Well, I'll tell you what the big deal is to me. I'm really sensitive. It was an issue for me in the first place to be taking this many drugs. However, I understand that it's saving my life. It's necessary. I'm super appreciative of that. So I don't want to send the wrong message in that way. But you know what? Like, fuck the pharmaceutical companies. Seriously, there is literally no reason that all of this extra shit needs to be in these medications. I mean, like, seriously? Like, look at all this shit. Like, seriously? Like, what? Why? What is the point? And so here's my issue. Like, pre-transplant and stuff, I had a lot of issues with additives in medications. Like, the medications itself were fine, but I was having allergic reaction to an additive. So this is a big deal for me. Like, I don't want to change. Okay, let me go back. Different manufacturers use different inactive ingredients. So you can see that here. I mean, I went, let me find. Okay, so this was the one that they changed for me. And let me just find so I went and I pulled the brand names, and then I pulled like their generics. Okay, so here you go. This was the one that I was taking. Sorry, I've never recorded on the computer like this. Okay, so these are all the inactive ingredients of the one I was taking. So this is one medication, 3 different manufacturers. Okay, so that was one. So they changed it. This is the new one. And this is the brand name of the generic ones. So of the 2 different manufacturers. Jesus. Okay. So, like, literally it does not matter if you're taking the brand name, if you're taking the generic name, whatever. There's a bunch of, like, ridiculous and inactive ingredients. And so, like, you know, the argument to this is like, oh, well, all those inactive ingredients, they're, like, FDA approved. And, you know, oh, the amounts are, like, so small that it can't hurt you. But here's the deal. Like, I take these medications every day. I take multiple pills of the same medication every day, morning and evening. And, you know, I don't just take one. I take, like, fucking 5. And there's so many additives in all 5, okay? So, A, that's fucked up. B, my argument is, like, okay, if I can't get around having all these additives and I'm sensitive, and I've been taking the same brand for 6 months, so, you know, obviously I'm okay with the additives that are in the brand that I have been taking. Why can't I just keep taking the fucking brand that I was taking? Oh, right, because the pharmacy isn't going to make as much money as they were making before. Oh, the poor pharmacy and their money, you know. Who the fuck is looking out for the patients? Like, I don't know. Maybe some people don't think that this is a big deal, but unless you've been in a situation where you have to take a lot of medications that have a lot of side effects, I would hope that you're trying to do the best possible thing for your body, right? And when you're putting all of this shit into your body, like, it adds up. It adds up. And okay, so as you may or may not know, like, depending on who you are watching this or whatever, you know, transplants don't last forever. They have a shelf life. And, you know, from what I understand, and I'm definitely going to research this more as well as I'm going to go on the internet and I'm going to look up every single one of the additives that are in all the medications that I'm taking and see, like, you know, what they really are and what they really do. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Okay, so, yeah. So anyways. Okay, so kidney transplants having a shelf life. That's what I was talking about. I actually had to stop because I couldn't remember. So anyways, what I was saying was kidney transplants have a shelf life. And the reason why that is because of the medications. So, you know, you need the medication so that your body doesn't reject the kidney, but after so many years, those medications actually destroy the kidney. So then you need another transplant or need to go on dialysis or whatever. So, you know, some of that can't be avoided because, like, you know, the active ingredients that you need that are in the medications, you need them. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't need all this inactive ingredients bullshit. So, like, maybe it could help, you know, to, like, not have all this shit in there. I mean, it's common sense, right? So my whole point is, like, why? Like, what is the point of that? And, you know, maybe you don't care about that, or maybe you're not on medications and you're watching this or something like that. But someday, unfortunately, like, you will probably get sick. We all get sick, and it's a good thing to know what you're taking. It's a good thing to know what's in what you're taking and how that affects you. And I think we should all be pissed off. Like, there's literally no reason for all of this stuff to be added to these drugs. It's so much shit. So yeah, so that's what this is all about. It's just the additives and the drugs and the choices and the realization that we don't have a choice over that. It's kind of dictated by the pharmaceutical companies, the insurance companies, and, how much money the pharmacy is going to make depending on, what drug they give you, who manufactures it, and they get to make that decision. And you don't even get to be informed about what's in there unless you do what I did and you spend like 2 hours and you go and you look online and you pull all this shit off the internet. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, that's it. If you are like somebody that recently subscribed to my channel, thank you for doing that. I never really intended to keep making videos. It was just something that I was doing initially to, kind of document what was happening with me, and also for people that I wasn't able to talk to that were maybe curious. But, as things happen, I'll definitely try to update. I'm not super good about it, but I appreciate all of you, and I hope that this was informative. And if it wasn't, which, maybe not, then hopefully you care, I guess. That's it. So thank you. Take care.